Welcome to another exciting episode of Overexplaining Art. I'm your host, Antonio Iramo, and the way this series works is we read a poem in its entirety, and then we go over it line by line, word by word, and go over every detail and facet to the point that you hate art afterwards. So if you haven't already, like and subscribe, and here we go. Gasp for gain. Two lips supplant two lips through panting might. Still, ranting might paint vulgar all this pain, if Satori should bloom in dark of night. Will morning glory grow to gasp for gain, or grasp that all is lost at sight of frost? Shall owe my roots in cahoots with this rain? How cross this holy wood that I accost, with stains against my grains of falling sand? Words hold worth, but hold a hollow cost. Footprints display a path I don't command. I walk along in motion with my thumb. Why should I carry faith across this land? Right hand of God is callous, cold, and numb, and only fools would clamor for a crumb. So, if you didn't know, this is a sonnet, and it's not just any old sonnet. It's not some Shakespearean sonnet. It's not a Petrarchan sonnet. No, it is a terza rima sonnet. And the way a terza rima sonnet works is you have an A, B, A. And then that B over here pops up again in the next stanza. B, C, B, and that C pops up over here. C, D, C, not the CDC like the coronavirus. And then you get it, and it continues on. You get it. The rhyme picks up from the previous stanza. The middle rhyme turns into the outer rhymes. 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 And you have that little couplet, the volta, at the end. What you might not know about this poem is it is a univocalic poem, meaning that it is, nope, not univocalic, the opposite. Univocalic is when it's only one vowel. This is, well, it's a poem where it is excluding a singular vowel. I forget the term for it right now. We're going to have to patch that in a second afterwards. Anyways, if you look up, if you control F this poem, you can check out. Look, there's A. There's I. There's O. There's U. And Y, I guess, sometimes. But you look up E, and it's not there. Well, aside from my last name, Antonio E. Ramo. I could have renamed myself Antonio Ramo for the case of this poem, but there is no E in the entirety of this piece. Wow. It's actually a lot harder than it looks. Try writing a whole paragraph without a specific vowel and you'll realize, and E is the most common vowel in the whole English alphabet, so very difficult to write. Patting myself on the back. But let's get right into it. Gasp for gain, the title itself, we already have alliteration, right? Then we get into the first line. Two lips supplant two lips through panting might. All right. Two lips, as in two lips, the lips of a person, and two lips. So this is saying that the carnal nature of love, two lips, supplant two lips, the romantic notions of love, giving flowers, through panting might. Right? The heave and ho, the sound of beds creaking, and the sound of that's part of the carnal nature of it. So, and I also like it because the two lips supplant two lips, and what's in the word supplant? The word plant, and two lips are a plant. And then one letter off from plant is pant, right? So you have this repetition of the sound, the phonetic elements. Still, ranting might paint vulgar all this pain. A lot of alliteration because we have panting, pain, paint, pain, also a letter off, the paint and pain, and ranting goes with panting, and there's an internal rhyme going on there, right? If Satori should bloom in dark of night. Satori, go look it up. It's a very cool word, and we're talking about if this awakening should come in the dark of night, this Satori. Will morning glory grow to gasp for gain? Here's the cool question, because morning glory, it's that flower, right? It's a flower that blooms just in the morning, but we're also talking about, will the morning glory grow to gasp for gain? Are we going for a second round? Are we going to be waking up hungry for more? Are we going to be gasping from the horrors of our one-night stand, the glory of this morning, if you will? So there's a play on words there. Or grasp that all is lost at sight of frost. Right, so this has a couple different meanings, right? So I like it because we have gasp and grasp. We're off by a letter again. We're really hammering away at all these alliterations. Glory, grow, gasp, gain, grasp. Just hammering the G's down there. Or grasp that all is lost at sight of frost. Frost being obviously like it's wintertime. The frost in the morning. Will the plant survive? And also, will it change our perspective if we have the romanticism of poetry, right? Robert Frost. Shallow my roots in cahoots with this rain. It's just a fun line. Cahoots was a word of the day a couple days ago on Merriam-Webster, so I actually wrote the poem based off of that word. That's what formatted this whole thing. In cahoots with this rain, there's also the homophone there. Even though I'm spelling it rain like the rain coming down, this rain, I am also going with the R-E-I-G-N. It could be interpreted that way if you're hearing just the poem rather than reading the poem. That's why I think that poetry has to be read aloud as well as seen visually, because you're missing out if you're only hearing it, and you're missing out if you're only seeing it. You need to do both because there's both elements present. How cross this holy wood that I accost. Wood, not like wood like a carpenter would, but wood as in the woods and coulds of what we would do. So there's another play on words there. How cross this holy wood that I cost, right? The holy cross, right? But how cross this holy wood. It's messing around with how we would actually say that. With stains against my grains of falling sand, we have the assonance, the AI sound. The AI sound appears over here. Stains, you can stain wood, but stain is also like the stains of sin, right? Oh, horrid spot I can't wash off of my hands, right? So with stains against my grains of falling sand, migraines, headaches, right? A migraine, migraines of falling sand. We have images in the poem to help you along too, right? There's clearly the God stuff, and then there's the hourglass and migraines of falling sand, the headaches of time, if you will. Words hold worth, but hold a hollow cost. It's spelt Holocaust, but I mean hollow cost in that respect, and it's almost pronounced that way. And again, there's a alliteration of the yin-yang, hold, hollow cost, right? Then we get into the next line, and it's more God references. Footprints display a path I don't command. We think of the whole story of the footprints in the sand, right? Because we were talking about the sand earlier, and we're talking about the footprints now. Footprints in the sand, it's a story where God, you see the one set of footprints, and you're like, God, you weren't even there for me. And then God's like, I was carrying you, you sleepy bastard. Right, so footprints display a path I don't command. I walk along in motion with my thumb. We're kind of given the idea of like a hitchhiker on this journey through life that we didn't even choose. Why should I carry faith across this land? And again, the question of who's carrying who, right? I'm asking about should I carry faith? And in the story of the footprints in the sand, God is carrying the individual. Right hand of God is callous, cold, and numb. We get more alliterations, the callous, cold, and only fools would clamor for a crumb. This idea that this really turns, right? At the beginning, we're kind of questioning, and it seems like we're going into religion, but at the end, it's like very spiteful and against God, saying that like only fools would even clamor for the crumb that were given, right? The body of Christ. And in this, my wife's going to hate this because she's very Christian and very much into God, but I like to question God as a Christian. And this one is really going into the idea that we're clamoring for a crumb, we're clamoring for this forgiveness that we shouldn't even have to ask for because God made us the way we are, so all our actions and everything is just a repercussion domino due to Him. So God is kind of callous, cold, and numb, and we're talking about the hand. It ties back into the thumb that we're hitchhiking along. And that's the entirety of this piece. So if you enjoyed it, give a like, give a follow. If you hated it, give a critique in the comments. If you're super Christian or religious, I want to see what you say. If you're atheist, I want to see what you say. So leave me a comment, and I'll keep making these episodes of Overexplaining Art. Thank you for joining me today.